Hey guys, before we begin this video, I must give you all a disclaimer. This will not show you everything there is to know about book marketing, but these are just some of the basics that I picked up along my journey as a writer. I hope these tips help you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Now let's dig in. We're going to start with the very basics. Know your audience. When you're writing a book, always keep in mind who you're writing for. There's a lot of things to consider when knowing your audience. For one, book ratings. This is not how people rate your book, although that is a form of book rating. This is what age group are you trying to target. Now, why is this so important? Well, you want the right age group to be reading your book. If a kid reads a book targeted towards adults, one of two things will happen. Angry parents, or no book sales, possibly more towards the latter. But this can be said of any confused rating. So let's look at some titles that we are familiar with. We'll start with the children's books. The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Children's books like this have more pictures than words, mainly because at this age level, children are just starting out reading. Middle grade, Nancy Drew, or Hardy Boys. And at this point, middle schoolers will probably be reading this book. I know that's the book I started out with at that age. This kind of book may have some illustration, but it mainly has words and easy concepts that a middle schooler can understand. We'll go now to young adult. Harry Potter. Now we've graduated from illustrations and easy concepts to in-depth descriptions with hints at topics a teenager would understand. And the next is adult. Any Stephen King novel. By now, everything is geared toward adults, from situations to descriptions. But also bear in mind that book ratings also depend on the person's reading level. I mean, I've known kids in middle school who were reading and understanding Harry Potter at the age of 12. Now, once you've decided on what age group is appropriate for your book, let's look at the genre. There are so many types of genres out there, and still more are being formed today. Don't feel that you have to categorize your book as a commonly known genre. That will make it unique. In fact, when you describe your book via social media, which we'll get to in a minute, a lot of search engines will ask you what genre your book falls under. In these cases, you can add as many genres as you want. Why? Because this will increase your SEO, search engine optimization. In short, SEO means how many people see your book through whatever website you're advertising it on. SEO is and always will be your bread and butter for marketing. Now, if you're a first-time author or it's the first time writing in your genre, check out these links. This is not a full list of all the genres out there, but these are the ones I found. And if your genre isn't listed here, I want to encourage you to do some research and see if you can connect with other authors in your field. Now, it's time to gather your gear. And by that, I mean connect with the media. Start with your local newspapers, or maybe your work has a fun newsletter. Start with the small stuff and branch out. Your town wants to know about the newest artists in their midst, but newspapers will only get you so far. Go to social media next. In fact, in some cases you may want to let the internet know first. Facebook, Instagram, Goodreads, and Twitter. But notice how I put Twitter last. Twitter is great if you're going to post on a daily and maybe even twice a day basis. But if you're like me and have a full-time job, Twitter might not be a realistic approach. Create a Facebook page solely dedicated to your work. And unless you're going to write only one book, I highly recommend naming your page either your name or your name-author. That way you can write as many books as you like. And you can post on it as often as you're able to. Instagram is another great tool. Sure, it might just be for pictures, but you'll be amazed at all the awesome pictures you can take of your latest book or an event that you went to. Now, Goodreads is another of my personal favorites. In fact, I use that and Facebook more often than Instagram and Twitter. Goodreads offers an author profile where you can link your books to your author page and also write a blog. You can link any video interviews you've had, and they also offer book giveaways, which give you great recognition. Although I'd caution on giveaways in general, most, if done through an outlet like Goodreads, will cost you a chunk of money, and it's not always guaranteed that the winner will review your book, which, as many writers will tell you, is the best thing since sliced bread for a budding author. So use that avenue sparingly. And the most important gear is to have your own personal website. You can either hire someone to make one for you, or you can create one via wix.com or weebly.com. Either one will do fine. Just remember to treat it like that Facebook page. If you're only going to write one book or series, make it for that series/book. But if you're planning to write a ton of books, make sure the website is something simple like your name. Lastly, a few months before you plan to release your book, I strongly recommend you have a blog tour. Maya from Silver Dagger Tours does a phenomenal job at creating a strong launch for your book. She creates her own designs, and the tour can last 2 weeks or a month. I always go for a month. It's also insanely affordable. It's by donation, so you won't have to worry about breaking the bank. And to wrap up this video, I can't emphasize this enough, but keep your marketing notes safe and in one spot, whether that be your computer, a notebook, or even your phone. If they get lost, you'll have to start all over or struggle for hours trying to remember your passwords and usernames. Been there, done that, not really fun. Also, keep track of what it is you're doing. Note what works and what doesn't work. And if you find something that I didn't mention that works for you, please let me know. In this industry, it's important to share advice, suggestions, and help. Yes, it's a competitive business, but even the most famous and successful authors have been where we are today. What matters is that we help each other out. Thanks for watching.